Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My full name is Julia Carolina and ID number 24021110029. Everybody lived in the Soviet Union, the shopping Runaround. The other Henry Smith was head of the New York Times office in Moscow from 1971 to 1974. The following passage in the page from Mr. Smith's book, Directions, which was published in 1976 by the Kriegel, the New York Times Book Company. I had heard about the customer strongest before the going to Moscow, but only when we began to stop their directions, customers' problems really held a meaning for me. Customers, the word overwent in the lines, but the Soviet lines have a special quality all their own. Typically, the Soviet women spends 2 hours a day in line, 7 days a week. Personally, I have known of people who stood in line 70 minutes to buy 4 pineapples and 3 navel to buy their large hands of cabbage, only to find the cabbages were gone out of a brown hand to front of the line. Lines can run from New Year's to nearly a mile. Some friends of ours watched a line of people in Moscow lining up to buy rounds. The lines last 2 days and nights and ran for across also an apartment development. In the speed of all of this, in natural direction of the Russians women when she sees in the line forming is to get in immediately, even before she know when she being sold. However, Soviet lines are more full than they appear in most stories. For example, suppers must stay in not one but their lines for any purchase. The first to solid in purchase and find out the print range. The second to pay a cashier somewhere else in the store and get respect. And the third to get pick up the purchase but turn in the respect. But in the dairy store one morning, I found out that the game's in about the spoiler and more complex than that. I went in to buy some cheese, butter, and bolognese sauces, which were in their separate departments, each with its own line, 9 lines. Rather quickly, third, I noticed that experienced sports were skipping the first stage. They know when most items cost, they went directly to the cashier for their receipts. After studying French, I did that too. Then I went to the chess line, the longest, probably 20 problems. To get the words over was first. I was in the line less than a minute when 2 women in front of me asked me to hold her place. She darted off the butter and milk line. The cheese line was moving so slowly that she got her butter and milk and returned before we had advised their fate. I decided to take the right too, and I get back with my butter while the cheese line was still insane long. Then it suddenly occurred to me that all over the store, people were getting into line, holding place, laying, returning. Everyone was using the cheese line as home base. That was why it was broadly moving. It kept us pending in the middle, so I got the man behind me to help my place, and I went off to buy my bolognese one gains. It worked. It took me 22 minutes to buy butter, sauce, and cheese, but instead of being furious, I felt as if I had beaten by systems. This competitive shopping gives an atmosphere of attention to Russians' life. People burst into stores and bomb into each other with face in it competitive experience. You have to understand, sighed a kind, gray-haired person. that for as long as we can remember, shopping has been struggle, life in a struggle. There is hardly any effective advertising to help shoppers. Americans complain about the constant commercials in the United States, but they might reconsider if they were exposed to the customer blackout in Russia. In the typical Soviet and might be if you want to live to arrive old age and be beautiful, modest, true and truthful. Drink tea, most newspapers publish without it. The shopper has the shopper has no holly yellow pages of daily newspaper supermarket or department store ads to help her decide where to shop. Pre-bury is when they're spared, low paying $18 to $20 monthly sellers to take a pertain of attractive items and sell them secretly to regular customers who have either left a prime and in advice or can be counted on to pay a high price on delivery to the 15 problems on a 16 problem raincoat in standard in 1976 to ruble was equivalent to 132 cents. So common is this practice that the Soviet press is always complaining about it, but it doesn't do any good. Crocodile, the Soviet, however, magazine once over a department store appealed permitting some new arrived items their customer in the leather goods department. 500 important women's parts have been received. 415 of them have been bought by store applause. 49 are under the coaster and have been ordered in the advice for friends. One purse is in the display window. We invite you to visit the leather department to buy this purpose. Now, main idea per paragraph 1 is Soviet cities experience severe shortages leading to long queues for basic goods. And the example during the COVID-19 pandemic, people wanted in long lines to be stainless like toilet paper and sanitizer, often finding self-empathy. And the main idea per paragraph 2, due to the strongest Russian supports and the instinctively joined quizzes without alone knowing what was being sold. And the example, using Black Friday sauce, suppers rise into strongest and join long lines for discount items without always knowing if the deal is worthwhile. And the main idea per paragraph 3, shopping in the Soviet Union was complete, requiring separate lines for each items. And the example, in the government office, people visit multiple counters for one document. And the paragraph 2, main idea is experience pairing, skip steps and which lines struggles. In the example, smart computers take shortcuts of which transport modes to avoid traffic. Idea for paragraph 5. Shoppers held a place in one line while moving to others. In example, in the food courts, people order from multiple stalls and pick up the fastest one first. And the main idea for paragraph 6. Shopping was competitive and stressful like a battle. An example, Black Friday spares pause through crowd to grab discounts. And main idea per paragraph 6, the first thing was almost the United States in the Soviet Union, making it harder to customer to compare product. And the example, in the centuries with statement control, people really went on word of mouth instead and the first times to find good products to surface. And the main idea per paragraph 8, robbery was when the spurt with the sellers secretly selling desirable items and private customer, and the example in the some business employer held limited edition product for VVIP customers. And the main idea per paragraphs 9, corruptions in stores was so common that even the Soviet first jokes about it. But no really change happened. The example, in some workplace employees research the best customers for themselves, leaving lower quality options for the public. And the last for me, I say, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.